All right, let's do the thing. Let's do our annual trip to the Eastern Conference Finals and finish it up once again properly. In fact, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, there's a stat I don't want to say, but we'll leave it at that. How's everybody doing today? Let's blow up this chat so I can see. All right, hey David, how you doing? Coaches with coffee and Paul Maurice and DeBoer. That's interesting. I'd have to look at that. Brett thinks we should have had 2 more days off. Well, Maurice says the guys like it the way it is. So, because they just want to stay in the groove rather than have the days off. I wouldn't have minded an extra day off. Greg said, yeah, the mic'd up. Yeah, I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Hey, Hungry, Chopper, Damien. Hey, Amanda. Yeah, we're like two. We were at 99, but I know what's going to happen. The same thing happens with every other big number. She's asking how many subscribers I am away from 9,000. Whenever I get to a bigger number, people will unsubscribe so that the number is removed. It happened around 7,000 too. I was 7,900 and something. It kept flipping back and forth. So I'm making the stream subscriber only now. That should pretty much bring us over the top to 9. And we'll just see where we go from there if they keep winning. Chopper says, Carolina scares me, but if we manage to play our game right and we can close out the series faster. Hey, JC, traveling for work in Ohio. Not sure how you're going to watch. Oh, my God. That sucks. Hey, Taylor. IDK, yeah, they tend to play worse with the long rests, but you would have felt better with 1 more day of rest. That's kind of what I thought too. But Maurice specifically said he kind of felt like the energy from the Game 7 would have dissipated if we had that extra day. So he knows the team. I believe him. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing, bud? About to head out, take Mom for late Mother's Day. Have a good time, bud. Have a good time. Dylan wants to know if we should bet on quadruple overtime tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight, please. Not game 1. Not game 1, please. Hey, Icy, how you doing, Coot? Yeah, we don't have to wait. That's for sure. Real says 8 periods of overtime tonight. Let's go. My God. The only way I want a long overtime is if it's game 4 and we're sweeping them again, and Edmonton and Dallas are going to go to 7. Then we can recuperate. But we need to win these games in regulation. You know there's going to be overtimes. I mean, with these 2 teams, it's impossible not to have. Hungry says there seems to be a lot of new people encroaching the stomping grounds. There's like 5 Panthers podcasts. Yeah, I ain't worried about it. I mean, the more the merrier. It doesn't, you know what I mean? That's good. That's, you know what I mean? More people searching for the team, Bonding. Oh, Craig, I couldn't read what you said. Craig says bonding on the extended playoff roadie. Yeah, it's a good point. Hey, Goat, how you doing, bud? It would be nice to jump off to the 1-0 lead. Yeah. Brandon's got 5 overtimes tonight. Oh, boy, I think I better take a nap. Kenneth says game postponed due to length of game after 6 overtimes. I wonder how many overtimes that would take. Like, how many overtimes could they play before the league would say we have to suspend play for now? Silva says, I actually don't think this game will be close. One team's going to get ahead and bury the other. Interesting. Coot, I can't wait for a series with 12 total goals scored in however many games. David, I appreciate that. The only other one, I know there's a couple. I know Locked On Panthers. He's been doing it a few years. I think there's another Rats and Pucks or something like that. Nick, I did see, he's asking if I saw the Swaggy and Bennett's mic'd up. I saw that short. I still got to watch the whole episode. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. She says, if and when we do win the cup again, I'm sure. Chat jumped on me. I'm sure this will be the most lucrative summer for you in history and probably have 10,000 subscribers. I hope so. Last year, we gained like 1,500 this time of the year. So far this year, it's been closer to about only 300, maybe 400 at the most. I forget where we started. I think it's been like 300 subscribers. So the growth this year hasn't been as much. But that's because we're playing teams that we've played before, right? It's team fans of the teams like the Boston people are already had subscribed. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Tampa had already subscribed. Hungry says, that's what I'm hoping for. Oh, yeah. You're talking about a good team for the people to be motivated enough to talk about the team. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Ted, how you doing, bud? Real says, I finally saw Reinhardt's goal that the broadcast missed. It just came out of nowhere, right? Yeah, internet is working for now. For now. I agree, David. I agree about the slow, grinded out game. Maybe we'll come out on fire. If we can come out and play like we did at the beginning of Game 7. I appreciate that, Icy. I appreciate that, bud. Oh, the Marlins won 2 in a row? Dang. So I believe the game is on TNT tonight. Yes. Yeah, I guess ESPN picked the other Western Conference game. I guess that's why tonight's. I guess somebody said in the chat that the reason why we're playing on Tuesday is because with the way that the contracts were laid out, the TV contracts, ESPN got to choose which series they wanted, and they chose the Western Conference, and they already had TNT locked into starting on Tuesday, which is, I mean, just absurd that they didn't give one more day off in between. So it is what it is. Sergey says most popular word in Toronto today is pressure. I can't imagine. Craig says third and fourth lines will be very noticeable tonight. Yep. It's the same thing on rinse and repeat. That's why I say it 1,000 times. That's why signing Bennett is so important, because that keeps Lundell on the third line, and that keeps us having that advantage. Kuz says ESPN picked the Western Conference so that Mess wouldn't throw a tantrum about having to watch the Panthers again instead of his beloved Oilers. Right? Hungry says broadcasters have way too much power over sports. How many times have we seen games start late because of some other broadcast didn't end on time? I remember growing up, oh my God. The way that they would cut away from football games. Like, we lived in the Dolphins area, so it wasn't a problem. But like if we went to like Orlando or something, well, no, they would have been Tampa. If you were traveling or you were out of the area watching the Dolphin game, and there'd be 8 minutes left, and they would cut away to the beginning of the next game because they were contractually obligated. It was a mess. Still kind of is. So Don Sweeney extended as Bruins GM. Wow. Well, can't wait to see what Low Quality has to say about that. Hey, Jari. Chucky bounce back series. Sounds good. He started off so hot, right? With a couple of goals. He looks better, though. Colin, no, not tonight. Hey, Simon, how you doing, bud? If you guys haven't watched the series preview I put out earlier, I can summarize my prediction for the series by saying if they get to Game 7, it's on Fluffy's birthday. So once I saw that made my prediction for me. Green says if those third and fourth lines start needing help in games, having Barkov line wake up should be scary, right? Right. Trey. Yeah. Yep. I can't imagine that the fans would be thrilled about that. 2-year extension. But what's he going to do in 2 years? Right? I mean, they got to retool. What are they going to do? Give him 2 years to what? Get back to the playoffs? What do they expect him to do in 2 years? Bennett says, Charles, I won't watch Panthers again if they don't do everything to sign Bennett. Well, I can't imagine. I don't know why he would want to leave other than money, right? I get it. Just give him his 4 years and $8 million. Hey, Jordan. Trey says the Leafs extend Shanahan next. Coots says, I think we should expect greater contributions from the first line against the Canes because they shouldn't have their hands as full trying to erase the opposing team's stars and be more offensive. Yes, absolutely agree with that. 100%. At least the Leafs fans didn't pelt the team with batteries. Green Loogie says 2 years seems insignificant. Yes, like what is he going to do in 2 years? I don't know. Simon, so I did go fishing yesterday. It's on the members podcast. It got cold again. It's 60 degrees outside. It was 49 degrees this morning. It got cold again. It's almost June. Fluffy would have been happy with this weather. But no, so I went yesterday. I caught one good sized snakehead and haven't been to the gym as much as I'd like to because we've been working so much. But the good news is we have a riding lawnmower being delivered today, so we won't have to push mow the 3 acres anymore. We only had to deal with that crap for 1 year. What did Craig? Does that mean Marchand signs with the Cats now? Yeah, exactly, Craig. Right. Yeah. Hungry. When Wild the Crazy Guy says, what do I think of the sky is falling reaction from Leaf fans? I saw one guy who made sense that says Leafs don't need that big of changes, just some moderate changes. I mean, so Dan Marino and the Dolphins could never get past Buffalo. For years, we had a team that probably could have, should have won a Super Bowl. But we can never get past Buffalo. The Leafs, honestly, probably are good enough to beat any other team in the Eastern Conference except for Florida. But for the most part, a lot of the teams, we're the 2-time conference champs. So when you lose to the Cup champs and the 2-time conference champs in 7 games, I get how they lost. But I would try to get Tavares on a cheaper deal. Let Marner walk. Waste of space. and use that money to try to upgrade your third line. So if you end up running into Florida again next year, you might be able to compete a little bit better. I mean, they got the goaltending. Steven says, I'm excited for this series. It should be a fun series. If you like 2-1 long overtime games, yes. Stressful. I don't think we're going to get, we blew them out twice, right? Wasn't there another game that wasn't super close? So game 5 and game 7, it was like by halfway through the game, it was nice and relaxed. It wasn't, we weren't manically stressed. A little bit when Domi scored. A little bit. But I don't see many games like that in this series. I think we're all going to lose a lot of water weight sweating. Ghost Slayer says, as a Leafs fan, in addition to the Cats, the fans are overreacting. Yes, it was a disappointing performance, but maybe the Leafs were physically, mentally exhausted after the Cats' style, and only Domi survived. Trey. Oh my God. Oh, I don't think she's watching right now. Simon, the internet is what it is until they come repair my neighbor's line, which probably last time it took like a week for them to come out, week or 2 weeks for them to come out and bury my new line. It just depends. We haven't had a lot of bad weather and outages and stuff, so they might get to it quicker. We've had our little problems here or there, but eventually the signal comes back. Fortunately, nothing I can do about it. So, I call them up and try to expedite the process, but the only thing I could do really is call them up and ask for a free month because of the problems. Yeah, Real says for Leafs fans, it's built up from all the other bad losses. Yep. So scientists, he says, he finds it concerning that the Bennett contract negotiations that were going on through the season haven't led to anything final by now. I kind of had the same feeling about that too, but then somebody reminded me that Reinhart didn't sign until after the season was over as well. So it's possible that is what's going on with Bennett. And there's also a lot of other things to take into consideration with Ekblad and possibly Marchand, please, right? And you got to pay Sam Miskevich. So I think once the playoffs started, we weren't going to see anything there. Hey, Sarah. Hungry says I might have to break out the emotional support whiskey for this series. Yeah, Marchand is a dog, that's for sure. Hold on a second. Did I miss the super? No, that's the one I got. Okay. Hey, RJ, how you doing, bud? All right, I'm at the bottom now. I'm at the bottom of the chat, scrolling up a little bit because I know I get behind. Hungry says, talking about the Leafs, it sure doesn't help that the core four seem to be emotionally fragile and the pressure cooker has obviously gotten to them. And one thing I want to say about this, I don't want to get too off topic, but when Tkachuk and Marchand and Maurice were talking, everybody is, not everybody, but I'm seeing a lot of people saying, how dare they say that the fans in Toronto are a problem? How dare they blame the fans? But what's being left out is that's not what people are saying. And in my opinion, most of what I'm seeing is them blaming the media. When Paul Maurice is talking to the media saying, you all are going to kill them. You're going to crucify them. Tkachuk and Marchand were speaking to the media when they said, you all are over, So I honestly, to me, it feels like they're talking about the media crucifying these guys and not, generally speaking, the fans. But I haven't seen anybody give that opinion. It doesn't make any sense. Because if I'm talking to you and I say you are going to crucify them, I'm not talking about somebody else. I'm talking about you. They literally, Maurice looked at the media and said, you all are going to crucify them. He's talking about the media. So that's my rant. Yeah, Real says, yeah, I think they mostly mean the media, but the Leafs fans take it personally, right? Trey says Toronto media is why players have pressure. Toronto fans are why hockey fans root against them. Because I saw in Dangle, that's what spurred that. Was Dangle talked about it in his last recap, saying that they were blaming the fans, and it's like no, listening skills are important. Now, to be fair, like Hungry is saying, there's some serious schizo fans out there. I know about that, right? But I don't think that's where these players feel the pressure from. Green says if you're a Toronto player, you can't simply walk your dog. Fan will spot you and either tell you off or hype. Interesting. Hey, Ryan. Hungry says, yeah, that's the thing. Dangle took it personally. He had forgotten that he's no longer a fan. He's part of the media. Right. I get to keep my fan name because I'm not credentialed. All right, I'm going to scroll back up here. Sola says the fans are rabid in Toronto and the media feeds it. Sure. Yeah, it sells, right? Absolutely sells. Trey says empty netters had a great take. If Leaf fans were like Browns fans, people would like them like the Cubs, but they act like Cowboys fans. Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't understand. Like I'm like the Chiefs fans that I've seen online are more humble than some of the Leaf fans. It's like they get real cocky when they're losing. I don't know. The Little J says they get paid millions and can't ignore the noise. And those contracts hurt too, right? In terms of they're getting paid all this and the rest of the team has to be a little bit leaner than what Florida's got, right? Toronto, I don't know what they're paying their third liners, but I'm going to assume, well, no, because they're not paying their goaltenders all that much, right? I mean, they should have room there. When you look at the difference between what Florida's playing their top players and what Toronto is, but Toronto's not paying $10 million. How much are they even paying their guys combined? Stolars and Woll. Johnny says Bills fans think losing to the Chiefs 4 years in a row in clutch moments is worse than the Leafs to the Bruins. Yeah. Yes. You got to win one game. One game you got. That's like one game. Like at least the Leafs with the Bruins, it's a whole series, et cetera, right? But for Buffalo, it's like just win one game, not 4-1. So I kind of agree in a sense with that. Of course, through a Leaf fan, it's not going to feel that way. Oh yeah, Simon, the hockey pool. So I think True, my buddy Nick, that's done the music with me, he's in first place, and I can't pass him. I think he's going to win. I can't pass him because we both picked the Panthers to win, and we both picked the Panthers over the Canes in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think he's going to win. If Florida wins the Cup, he's going to win. There's nobody that could pass him. I don't think. I think Donna slipped to about 5th. I think I'm at like 10th or something. My Western Conference bracket really screwed me up. David says maybe Taylor Swift or Trump get baller having lunch on Los Dollars, but probably not. Right? That's okay, Dave. Ted says the Habs, I respect their historical achievement, but the Habs are like a corporation. And that's going to really infuriate Leaf fans because guess who's going to be better than them maybe by next year? Maybe, if not by next year, certainly by the year after that. Montreal, if there's going to be a team, in my opinion, if the Panthers win this year's Eastern Conference again, looking at the teams that are out there, if the Devils stayed healthy, maybe. But Montreal, if they got the right amount of help, at some point those young legs will probably, I would, and Trade said that on one of our podcasts earlier, last year, I believe it was, about how he felt Montreal would be the Canadian team that broke it. And can you imagine imagine if Florida Edmonton play again this year and then Edmonton loses again and then next year Edmonton gets there again, but this time against Montreal. Yeah, Trey says Montreal set up for a run and a half. That's true. They just got to figure out if they've got the right goalie or not. Johnny says, my dad who attended all 5 Super Bowl games for the Bills lost in a row. Had a fun time. God dang. 5. And I think they beat the Dolphins along the way in 4 of those seasons. We just couldn't beat Buffalo. Kind of like the Kings can't beat Edmonton. Hungry says, I mentioned this on Captain Paul's video, but the part of the problem is the whole center of the hockey world Toronto thing is that Toronto tries so hard to maintain and amplifies everything the team does tenfold. Yeah. And I mean, you just look at the look at the YouTube channels. Forget just Dangle. I mean, there's probably a dozen to 2 dozen Leaf channels bigger than mine. You know what I mean? In terms of channels that cover a specific team that do the recaps, there's Dangle, Hot Take Hockey, but there's other teams, and that's the thing. YouTube doesn't show me. Like when we were playing Tampa, I didn't get any videos sent to me by YouTube from anybody creating videos for Tampa. I'm sure they exist. You guys have told me about it, but YouTube didn't send it to me. Now for Toronto, forget about it. Like every other recommendation was a different creator for the Leafs that I'd never heard of before, with way more subscribers than me. Green says, I'm excited to see what Lord Zito cooks us up this season, LOL. I'm in no rush to see the offseason, but it will be interesting. I haven't seen any talk of beginning negotiations. Well, Bennett, my perfect offseason is Bennett 8x4, Ekblad 4x5, move Rodriguez, Marchand takes 2x5, Samoskevich gets 2x2.25 because he's an RFA. We don't have to give him a big deal. I don't know what they're going to do there. If they're going to treat him like Lundell or Luosterainen, it's going to be a 2-year deal, 2 or 3. Past that, and a backup goalie. Go get Alex Lyon again to be the backup goalie, and we're good. Donna says, I'm so grateful for this team, man. Enjoying it while we're successful. I even sent God a prayer before Game 7. It seems to be, yep. I had Fluffy's altar lit up with the incense and the whole thing. Occam says, I think Anaheim is close to replacing the Kings. They'll probably end up slaying the Oiler Dragon. Poutine. Let's see. Yeah, Green says we have a good group locked up for quite some time. Yeah. Yeah, Hungry, the only one you know is called Talking Tampa. I think I've seen like one time I've seen a video from him come up in my feed. So it's no wonder why my channel's had so much trouble growing. Hey Petri, how you doing? Communist. So Colin says, what's my prediction for the Western Conference Finals? Edmonton. I talked about it in the members podcast today. Dietrich, Martian can get more than 2 years. Maybe three. Maybe three. I mean, look, give him what he wants. If we can afford it, I don't know how many years he's going to want. But if you would assume if he's going to sign with us, it would be because he'd want to finish his career here. So 2, 3, what does he want? Yeah, you guys agree about the Lion King, yeah. Soul says, hearing the guys on the mic moments makes me feel they really do cherish each moment. It seems like they have the desire to win. Verhage sounded like a little kid. He's like, we get to keep playing hockey. he sounded not, this is not an insult, but he just kind of sounded like a 12-year-old in the back seat of dad's car. He's like, we get to keep playing hockey. It was something else. Johnny says, you know what's funny? All the defending champions in most sports are now in tears for the last hope. Yeah. Neil says, Martian will easily get $78 million a year somewhere. He declined a lower offer from the Bruins. Well, that's true. Yeah, he declined a lower offer from Boston, but is it because of the money or he wanted to win? You know what I mean? We'll see. I mean, $7 million in New York is $5 million in Florida with the taxes. You know what I mean? But it just depends on what he wants for his last few years. Yeah, David, 8 left to go. Hawkins says, I've got Eck, hockey psychology, and what chaos all blocked, zero tolerance for those who dog the Panthers. So I never even heard about what chaos. And that proves the point. I've never even seen them. Hockey Junkie's good. Eck. And hockey psychology, I agree with a lot of his stuff. He does good. He does good breakdowns. I did not agree with what his assessment was of Game 6. I commented. I don't think I got a response. I didn't agree with his assessment of that game, but generally speaking, he's good. He's good for the game because he breaks stuff down and helps people understand what's going on the ice a little bit. Communist says, if you told me Luis Torino would be second on the team in scoring before the playoffs, I would have asked if the 4 games against Tampa were at least competitive. Exactly. The Tampa guy was respectful. That's cool. Yeah. Hungry says, what chaos is a biased clown show? I've never seen it, right? Petri, yeah, I think that's what I'm kind of figuring. Edmonton will face the Panthers again. Who says that? That's Michael thinking 3x6 for Marchand. If we can afford it, you know, is it a situation where they're going to let Ekblad walk? If you sign Bennett and Marchand, I'll be okay. You got to replace Ekblad. Ekblad goes with Jones, obviously. You know, Jones and Forsling go together. So now you got to get Mikkola a partner. But Marchand on that third line it just makes it just an absolute beast. Comments, yeah, Verhaeghe, right? Did you? Oh yeah, no, not 2 million. No, 2 years left. Yeah. David says McCaffrey and Drysdale will have to average 3 points a game to make up for the Oilers' goaltending. I don't think either. You don't think Otter's given up that many, but we'll see. And that's a good point. No, it's not that I disrespect in Dallas. It's just I wouldn't bet against Edmonton, trying to get back to the finals like they did. And especially now that they have a 50-50 chance of facing Florida. They want a rematch. Well, Michael, he hasn't been scoring a lot. He's talking about Verhaeghe. He hasn't been scoring a lot, but he's like third on the team in hits. He's been playing well defensively. Yeah, Adonis, hockey psychology. He's good. Real says I got egg block for hockey and movie review stuff. Hey, Mike, do I think Chucky comes to life this series? Thinking about that. I'm thinking about Carolina's style and everything else. I'm not so sure because if you're going to plant yourself in front of the net, your core has got to be good and strong because you're planting yourself. And I just don't know if he wants to play that game in front of the net to try to get the deflections. He might say, "F it, I can gut it out." His game around the net isn't going to be the same because you just can't make those sharp cuts right now. He's getting better. I worry about him trying to do too much around the net and the Carolinas, bigger guys, hurting them. You know what I mean? Trey says, well, his take about the Panthers being exposed was exposed. Yeah, that's the one I left the comment on. Like, they didn't expose. Come on now. Oh, yeah, Hungry says, found a channel called Hot Garbage Sports. Yeah, he's a Jets guy and a coach. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen his stuff. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah. Ted, yeah, I saw that about Marchand being the Leafs owner. Coot says, yeah, Hot Garbage from the Hot Channel recently. Yep. Yeah, he showed up. He showed up in my feed. I've watched a few things for sure. Hey, is that Amanda? I see it here on the bottom. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. She says, I've said this. I got to blow up. I can't see, man. So I've said this. Bennett is a playoff player, but everyone on the Panthers seems to be a playoff player. If he leaves, it wouldn't exactly be the same. He will have to work harder and take more responsibility on another team. I totally agree with you. I feel like they're going to get something done. Like, unless he's asking something absurd like 9. I mean, he's got to look at what everybody else took. And if he wants to stay, if you have to move Erod to sign Bennett and Ekblad at this point, you do it. Because that's part of the reason why you gave Jesper Bohlquist that contract in case you got to move Rodriguez. And remember, we're not afraid to move guys. We moved Duke after the first run to the Cup, right? We moved him, and then that's when we brought in Rodriguez. But I think Rodriguez's replacement would already be on the roster with Bohlquist. Hey, we hit 9,000. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. All right. That's good stuff. Michael says Rod has a $3 million contract, and we have Brad for $3 million this year. Bennett has $4.5 million. Our cap space is 7.7. Eck has 7.5. You say we'll get something done, but we let a walk. We let a lot. I can't say that. We let a lot walk last year. That's a lot of L's. Damn. I'm sure it's only 7.5. That doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. I think we've been dealing with the maybe because of Jones. No, that doesn't. I'm not saying you're wrong, but that sounds different than what we've been seeing all year. All right, thank you all. Oh, Trey says that's not counting the cap increase. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit of that. Yeah. Okay. All right, we got to 9, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, let's get to 10 now. Fantastic. Whoever was 9,000, email me. I will. You win a Corvette. You win a Corvette. Whoever was the 10,000th subscriber gets a Lamborghini. Yeah, I got some Matchbox cars in the back bedroom. I actually do. I don't know if I have a Corvette though. Praga says the only thing I can say is if Bennett walks, go after Tavares. That's an interesting thought. Can you imagine if there was a swap? If Toronto overpaid for Bennett, and then we took Tavares. Oh my God, that would be something else. David says Jonesy is great, but really expensive. It's true. It's very true. But I don't know. I just got this feeling like he's going to figure out some way to do it. I don't know what we do there. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Ted. Who says we also need to remember that it's not just Eki, Bennett, and Marchand, but Mackey's also right. Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, Marchand would be a little bit of a pipe dream, right? But the thing with Rodriguez is that if you can turn his money into Marchand, you have to do it, right? Because you've already got Boquist, and I guess Greer and Gadjevich are already signed. So going into next year, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luosterainen, who? I guess Rodriguez if you keep him, which would be fine. But if it could be Marchand instead of Rodriguez, upgrade. David, you'll take Nyes. Yeah, so will everybody, right? Oh, Pacharo, thanks for that. The Dolphins are in they're signing Asante Samuel. That would be smart. Craig says you'd rather have Erod over Boquist. No disagreement there, but the money. Would you rather have Erod and Boquist or Boquist and Marchand? Kachuk says Samuel might get an offer sheet. They're not going to let Samoskevich go. I don't think that. I don't think they're going to let Samoskevich go. F, who was blaming a player? What did I miss? Did I miss something here in the chat? No, I guess not. We'll scroll back down to the bottom. Oh, I see. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. Zero tolerance. Just zero. None. No tolerance whatsoever at this point. Who did it just? Oh, who did it? Did it not take? Hold on a second. Now I got to put my glasses on. That should have. Hold on a second. Bear with me. The chat's going so fast. Man says, do I do every live chat replay? Yeah. It takes YouTube a little bit of time to populate it, but yeah, it's definitely set up to do that. Fly Guys thinks Nice is juicing. All right, well, we'll scroll down to the bottom. Let's see. You just saw Ryan reading the Panthers YouTube channel. That's funny. Spamming Canes in 6. That Ryan. Oh well. Kachuk says we can't pay Sam more than Roddy, though. We're taking a step back. Mark says, looking at a very recent Reddit post, $19 million to play with this offseason. Someone believes Eck would take a team-friendly contract, especially after suspension. His wife is a doctor. Right. Yeah, that's what we're kind of banking on. Coot says maybe Zito can convince the guys to take less in the first year now, a little more the following year. It unfortunately doesn't work that way, Coot. The cap hit is the average of all the seasons. So you can pay a guy $1 million now and $10 million the next year. It's still a $5.5 million cap hit. They don't let you get away with that, unfortunately. David says Toronto should take all the jerseys to weak ass fans through on the ice and have a parade with them, right? I mean, that's a lot of money people threw. Hey Blair, how you doing, bud? We feel good. I kind of feel like the Panthers will just keep the energy from Game 7 and maybe catch Carolina sleeping a little bit. You know, maybe they're a little bit rusty. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. She says, I'm saying after the noon lives, most of them don't have the live chat replay, basically recapping what people said in the live. Right. So that's a YouTube thing. It should be there. I have it set up to do it, but it takes a few hours from what I've been told. Let me look at like yesterday's. It takes a few hours for the live chat to populate. Let me see. Like the one from yesterday. Yeah, there's a little button here. Here, let me show you. Let me share the screen. Of course, there goes my damn internet again. Right? Hold on a second. I'm going to do this anyway in case anybody can still hear me. Stupid internet. It immediately goes out on me when I'm trying to do this. So, Amanda, this is the video. This is the live chat from yesterday. You come all the way over here, you'll see show chat replay. And then it should populate. Should populate. Live chat replay. Why is it not doing it? This is a good question. I've got it set. I've got it set to make sure that, yeah, it even asks you here to open up the panel, but it's not there. Is that what you've been running into? Is that what you've been running into? I have to look at that. I've got it set to do it. It shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I need to get through the first ad? Seriously? Let me go back. I need to get through the ad? Kidding me. Let's try that again. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's try it one more time. Let's see. I don't ever go back and watch, most of the time. All right. Yep, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's there. Okay. No, you're right, Real. So there's just that little button there, and then I'm looking now, and it's there. But from what I've been told in the past, it just takes YouTube a couple of hours, unfortunately, for them to produce the whole thing. Hey, Anthony, let me blow up the chat again so I can see it. All right, David. So, Anthony, I'm trying to get. So, first one was, do I agree with most people saying that Florida and Carolina are basically carbon copies of each other? And I guess there was another one. Not sure if this sounds crazy or not, but we did give up a ton for Matt Tkachuk. Can we do the same for Austin Matthews? Oh boy. So I wouldn't want Austin Matthews on my hockey team. We'll just start there. I would not want him on my hockey team. So, and what was the second question? Oh, carbon copies of each other. I mean, they're very similar. Florida's got more offensive talent. I think Carolina's better defensively. I think we take a little bit, a few more chances than Carolina does. Obviously, both have really good goaltending. That they have to have the goaltending, right? Like if either one of Bob or Anderson struggle, it's over. I think Florida's got a little bit more of an open. We have the ability to play a little bit more of an open style. So I don't necessarily feel like carbon copies. Very, very similar. Very similar. I think we probably got a little bit more speed. They've got a little bit more size. Trey says their force thing is better than ours, but Aho is. Oh my God. Yeah, they run the same defensive system, right? It's a little bit simplistic, a little bit. Because Carolina likes to shoot the puck a lot more, I think, than Florida does. That's the offensive system. Defensively, I think Florida gets a lot more of their defense off the forecheck. I think Carolina is just, when I was watching them against Washington, sometimes they'd have three guys back. Like, they just don't care about scoring goals. Washington would come into the zone, and they'd have, forget two guys back, they'd have three guys back. It's almost like the Trap. I would say that they're more similar to the New Jersey Trap back in the day. So Kachuk says Dangle is screaming about it not being the Leafs fans' fault. They're not the problem, but they're the ones filling the arena and buying the jerseys. Oakland A's fans forced the team to relocate. Fans are going to fan though, right? It's a lynch mob mentality, and I can't imagine, considering my experience with some of them coming here and saying things that aren't exactly true, I can't imagine how they treat their own team. I just can't imagine it. Yeah, Praga says Carolina doesn't quite have the goal scoring firepower, but Anderson is on a heater. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Tim. The third and fourth line give us an edge. And can their top line handle Barkov? When Barkov is on, it's a tough man to handle. Praga. Praga says Leafs are a very good team, much better. They're going to shake it up and be back next year. Yeah. Hey, look at what happened to Florida when they got rid of Huberdeau. Now, there's not really a Kachuk out there able to, be had like we had, right? I don't know who Toronto would bring in. Steven says it's not the fans' fault. Yes, the fans put a lot of pressure, but this is why they need a leader. Yes. Yes. Amen. Amen to that. Sergio, yeah, I mean, it's playoff hockey. It just is what it is. It's always been that way. If they change playoff hockey, the sport goes away because that's what brings brings everybody to the table this time of the year. I don't know where Marner will go. Kachuk, probably Western Conference. Hey, Rosado. Zuna says, feel like it's going to be tough to score in the Canes. More disciplined than the Leafs. That's true. Yeah, I saw hot garbage. Yep. No, that third line. I mean, we've been talking about it for 3 years, right? That people are just starting to figure out. The people that don't watch Panthers all the time are just starting to figure out what the advantage is. We've known that around here all these years about Lundell. It's like that dude makes our third line secret weapon. Blair, you could get Besser. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Yeah, Lawton, Domi, whoa, nice. Does Lawton have a contract? Anthony says, Jaws, even when Boston was at the top of their power, as I said, them and Toronto had the same issue. They're way too finessed. They're not playoff style hockey. It's just what happened to the Panthers when they won the President's Trophy. Same thing. We just couldn't do it. Trey. Oh my God. Kazuma says the hockey guy made a pitch video to Marner to go to Vancouver. I mean, guy's a great regular season performer. What's it? No goals in 21 playoff games? I believe that's the stat for Marner. I mean, why would you pay that much money for a guy? Hold on a second. First off, he can't grow a beard. Okay? That's a problem. How old is he? He's 28, so he's at his peak. Playoffs. So why was or was it in elimination games that he had no goals? So he's got in the playoffs, he's got 13 goals in 70 games. Yeah, he's got 50 assists, but that's Jonathan Huberdeau. He's Jonathan Huberdeau. I mean, yeah, looking at his regular seasons, obviously, but he's not. I mean, he's got over 30 goals twice. He's Jonathan Huberdeau. And if you look at his numbers, This year was his most points, 102. Before that, 85, 99, 97, 67. It's not a $12 million guy. It's not a $12 million guy. Why would you pay that guy $12 million? I don't see it. He's a good. I mean, that's not even Verhaeghe numbers. You know? Great White. Yeah, we're going to do more of that. Excuse me. Yeah, we're definitely going to do more of that. For sure. Anthony, you think he would go to LA? I can't imagine he'd get traded. I don't think they're going to break it up to that point. I think Marner going, and then they got to see about Tavares. Andrew, yeah, no, I agree. He telling them to wake up, right? Marner to the Flyers? I don't know. I think he doesn't seem to fit their style. I mean, he's not a playoff performer. He's got a long history of not being a playoff performer. You gonna attach your wagon to that? Trey says that's actually a good comparison for Marner. He's basically a 200-foot Huberto. Yeah, the numbers are eerily similar. Yeah, exactly, Mike. You trade him to the Western Conference not to have the revenge story, which Colorado thought that's what they did with Rantanen, but surprise. Who's this? He says, Anthony wants to know which Sam are we losing this offseason? What's the second one? What's the second one? Is there another Sam other than Bennett? Oh, he's talking about Sam Miskevich. No, we're not losing. We're not going to lose. I don't think we're going to lose either, honestly. I don't think we're going to lose either. We're definitely not going to lose Sam Miskevich. That guy's not going anywhere. Bennett, I just have a feeling that they're all going to that Ekblad's going to take enough of a pay cut so that we can keep everybody. Hey, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, bud. It's Cats in 6. Take it or leave it. I would take it. Absolutely would take it. Vanish, how you doing? You're hoping Vancouver makes some big moves during the offseason. You got to feel the whole Besser left behind. Yeah, Bennett to Vancouver. Leave my guy alone. No. Trey says, hey, you had to lose your son, but so no. Sam Miskevich is not going anywhere. Bennett would be, but boy, it would suck if he got offer sheeted, right? Anthony, yeah, I mean, that was my prediction was 7 because game 7's on Fluffy's birthday. So if it goes 7, it's in the bag. It's in the bag for sure. Tony says Canes have some great blue liners, but I don't think their forwards come even close to the Cats. That's about right. 5 overtimes. No. Michael, yeah, Samuel could be a mini Kachuk Reinhardt. Well, he's a better skater. It's more like he's more like a Verhaeghe. I don't know about Reinhardt. I think he's like Verhaeghe, but with a little bit more bite to him. Because he's got that swag. He's got that shoot first mentality. So, all right, everybody, I gotta roll. Thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate all the support. Thank you all genuinely for all the super chats. 8 o'clock tonight. All right. 8 o'clock tonight. No shirt, no shoes, no service. We'll see you.